guys, Patbacknitro here, and I am happy to say that after as long as I've been a YouTuber, as of this video about a month and a half now, I have just received my very first fan request for a show. I was glad to receive one. However, the show that was requested is a show I feel rather weird about. Now, just for future reference, whenever I say that a show is weird, I mean that it's a mixture of both good and bad. I'm saying this because I can place a lot of shows in the weird area. But today, the show that we are talking about is Penn Zero Part-Time Hero. First, let's go over some history. Now, I never actually watched the show back when it first premiered on Disney XD. There were so many other shows going on at the time that I never had the time to go check it out. Just from watching the commercials, though, I could tell that it had some interesting ideas, and it looked decent enough. Now, funny enough, Penn Zero was co-created by Jared Bush, who co-wrote and co-directed Zootopia, which should give the show some more props. As far as that, though, this show doesn't have much history behind that. But with that said, I think it's best to let the show speak for itself. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this review started, shall we? Keep in mind, these are of course my opinions and my opinions alone. I have no biased feelings toward the subject matter at hand, and all rights belong to their respective properties. Today's review will be of the very first episode of the series, and it starts us off with the main characters on a quest to retrieve a mystic sword.
Guys, I know this mission was real tough, but times like this make it all worth it. Mission accomplished. What? Okay, here we go. And that's the Snota sword. Mission come on! Why?
We are also thrown into the show's taste for comedy, which can be a hit or miss at times. We are also introduced to the show's main villains. Nothing too special about them. It's the usual very evil villain with a goofy sidekick routine often seen in shows. However, the show as a whole is what really drew me into it. The show is about Penn Zero and his friends who take up work as part-time heroes. They travel to different worlds in order to complete different quests. Now, I love stories such as this, like Ben 10 or Danny Phantom or American Dragon Jake Long, where they have kids by day, but when the time calls for it, they are heroes. I'm just a sucker for this kind of formula. And if you are too, then you may find some charm in this show after all. And if that doesn't really float your boat, then there may be some other stuff about this show that you can enjoy. And before we go ahead and talk about the characters of the show, I do want to go ahead and point out something about the world logic of the show. It kind of feels weird to me. They do go ahead and travel to other planets, but some of them are medieval themed, superhero themed, or even Christmas themed, so it feels more like time travel or going to a parallel universe rather than traveling to different worlds. Also, they say that whenever they do travel to these worlds, they do change forms to match whatever planet they're on. So the ideas are fun to play with and bring a lot to the show, but the logic behind it just doesn't seem right. But as a cartoon, I guess I can just let it pass. As for the show's characters, we have Penn Zero, a kid who takes up his family's role as being a part-time hero, as his parents had disappeared while on a mission. A lot of shows do this missing parent scenario, but this show stands out a little more to me. While the show is more comedy-based, it means that there are hardly any sad or touching moments within it. So when Penn does actually have moments where he misses his parents and he tries his best to find them, then those moments just hit a little more harder. Then we have Boone. He is a rather interesting character to me. He looks like the typical bro-type character that is bros with the main character and often shows the broship. But the thing is, in the show he's played to be the wise character. He comes from a family of wise men, and most of his alien forms he's taken up to be the smart type of character. While he is easygoing and optimistic, he can also be rude and stubborn. He likes to do his own thing, which often backfires. And despite that, he also isn't very confident in his skills of being, well, wise, and even admits it at some points that he's not even a very good wise man. So his character, at some points, can go rather deep for what should be a very simple stereotype, which is why I find him to be one of the more interesting characters. And finally we have Sashi. There is nothing really too special about her. She is the tough, no-nonsense type of character. She's the character that keeps everyone on focus, doesn't mess around with silly things, and on top of that, she is not afraid to threaten others to get a mission done. Again, nothing really too special about her, but I wish they would have done more with her character. I mean, hell, they gave Boone a somewhat interesting character, and that says a lot. As for the villains, we have Ripon. He is the cartoon villain you would expect. He's evil, has a bad maniacal appearance, has a goofy sidekick, the whole package. However, I will give some credit that he's actually a very evil villain. Despite it being a comedy show, he does have some very evil moments. So it's somewhat refreshing to see a cartoon villain in a show like this actually be, well, evil. Oh, also to mention that he is also Penn's art teacher. Just something to mention. And then we have Larry, Ripon's minion. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this character. Now, Larry is the principal of Penn's school, but yet he is Ripon's minion, which is a cool switch around of power, I guess, as Ripon is the art teacher and Larry's the principal. But what else I do find strange about this character is he's not like most bumbling minion characters. Larry, in reality, is a nice, fun-loving guy. The only reason he works for Ripon is because he loves hanging out with him. I find that to be a refreshing take, as there's a lot of interesting stuff they could do with this in the future. And I also find that a friendly, talkative character like this could be annoying. However, it's really, really hard to hate this character. I mean, look at this guy. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get back to the story. They just go ahead and get the sword, save the day, and head home. Yeah, it was that short, but this is where the episode really starts. As it turns out that today is Christmas, and Penn is feeling a bit down.
Hi!
What up?
Mom, Dad, Merry Christmas.
We're knee-deep in a bloodbath of chaos and fury. So we can't come to the Moo-Hoo right now.
But if you leave a message after the scream, we'll get right back to you.
That was the scream.
Hey, guys, just thinking about you.
And so, yeah, his parents have been gone for a year now, lost in the most dangerous world there is. Nothing too sad about the moments shown here, but as the series go on, you start to warm up to him and you start feeling really bad for his situation. Penn then heads downstairs to breakfast where we meet his Uncle Chuck and Aunt Rose.
Uncle Chuck, Aunt Rose, how's it,
Oh god, okay, you know what, no, they just watch Penn and we're just moving on from this scene. We then cut to Penn and his friends who are about to go snow sledding when...
Started at the old testing hill.
I initiated takeoff procedure. All was going well until slight malfunction. There was a fireball and some unfortunate placement of radioactive waste. And then, the puppy monsters destroyed the city!
You forgot to make her one, didn't you?
Affirmative.
Yeah, that scene doesn't really add anything to the story, and there's really no reason it should have been there. But there are a lot of moments like that in this show, so if you're not too big of a fan of scenes like that, then just be glad to know that they never get too bad. So they go for a sled ride to try and cheer up Penn when they make a run-in with Ripon and Larry. And God, seriously, how can you hate him? He's like a pudgy teddy bear made of pudding. We are then introduced to Phyllis. She is a cranky technician who sends our heroes to other worlds to complete missions. She is a very grim person and does what must be done with little emotion. Such as in one episode she feared that Penn had a rare disease and was ready to blast him into the sun if necessary. Penn asks Phyllis to fix his Moo-Hoo device so he can talk to his parents, but after making literally no attempt to fix it, she sends them off on their next mission. Penn is just glad that they won't have to deal with Christmas, but...
You know, let's just get to work, right? At least wherever he's at me, I won't have to think about Christmas.
Oh boy.
Huh?
Anyway, their mission is to fill in for Santa, find missing elves, and get the sleigh on takeoff before a blizzard comes in. So, normal stuff you'd see on a Christmas special. So they break into Santa's factory, only to discover that it's an abandoned mess. And somehow, they make this seem kinda creepy.
Oh, Tannenbaum.
This wasn't some turtle doves blowing off steam. We are dealing with pros.
They open a box and discover a snowman's head inside it. The snowman says that an army of rogue gingerbread men attacked Santa's workshop overnight, which we then immediately cut over to the villains of the show, who are also gingerbread men.
Frosting snipers on the roof. Make sure you have plenty of sprinkles. Larry, stop that. People are staring.
I can't help it. I have so many flavors. I'm delicious.
Well, then just quietly eat your arm.
One thing that does bug me about this scene, though, is these guys went into the world almost the same time as Penn and them did. So how'd they have an entire 12-hour start? Well, again, a cartoon, so I won't really question the logic much. So they load up in Santa's artillery shed. Yeah, no shit. And they prepare to wipe out the gingerbread men. But the snowman tells them about a secret entrance they could go through. And so now, we get to what I love most about this episode in particular. It has the same formula of a Christmas special, but it treats it like a James Bond movie. I mean, watch this scene.
Doesn't feel so good, does it?
And so they sneak in only to get caught and attacked by candy weapons, which are pretty damn effective, I should say. However, the gingerbread men have the aim of stormtroopers. But Penn and the others finally get some cover when Penn realizes that his Moo-Hoo is gone. When he thinks he sees it rolling away...
Wait, what? Wait, you?
Were you looking for this?
So, yeah, he's bad, which is no surprise. But it's kind of a clever thing to do for a Christmas special parody, which is why I'm calling this now as it parodies most Christmas special formulas. In fact, they even acknowledge this.
If there's one thing I've learned from watching Christmas specials, is that you could do anything if you have enough Christmas spirit. Because we may be stuck here in a Christmas cave.
Oh, fuck that. So another thing to mention is, like Phineas and Ferb, this show often has musical moments, which aren't the best, but they are tolerable. But when the song is finished, it looks like the power of Christmas is on their side. Or not. And so the gingerbread men are having a feast to celebrate their victory, which consists of meat and mashed potatoes. I guess that makes the gingerbread men carnivores? I guess it really is a eat or be eaten for us, huh? Anyways, Penn figures out a way to escape the cage in that they make a makeshift chimney for Penn to slip through. Which I guess is a cool callback to how kids ask how does Santa fit down the chimney. But they could have just sent Sasha out, as she is already a small elf who could easily fit through the holes. Anyway, we're back to the gingerbread men, where Ripon congratulates Larry for being the most loyal minion, even if he isn't the most evil. But when Penn and the team bust out and start a counterattack, we have Larry to finish the job.
Watch out, guys! There's enough frosting in here to blast you all the way back to Valentine's Day.
How you gonna pull that trigger? You ate all your fingers.
Guilty as charged. They were all different flavors. Caramel, chocolate, hazelnut.
Man, that guy can talk.
Oh, maybe next time, buddy. Maybe next time. Anyway, Penn and Boom get to the sled and head up for the launch platform to finish the mission. However, Rippins is there to stop them and shows us the many ways toys can be used as a weapon.
All aboard! Not my bowl full of jelly! How about a little blade?
Well, the kids who spent all year long being good are going to be real disappointed with their broken toys. But we're brought to an even bigger problem, as the sleigh is reaching so close to the launch platform, Ripon gets out Penn's Moo-Hoo as his parents are calling back, and threatens to drop it if he doesn't turn the sleigh around.
No deal. The world needs Christmas.
are never gonna be this delicious again.
What the fuck, Larry? Come on, man. Anyway, they make it to the launch platform and make it out before the blizzard, with Penn still sad that his Moo-Hoo's gone and he may never get to talk to his parents again. However, as all Christmas specials end, Penn Zero wakes up the next morning with his Woohoo fixed, and he's able to call his parents, ending in a happy Christmas after all. And that was Penn Zero Part-Time Hero. It's bad this show came out at the time it did. It had to compete with shows rising in popularity like Gravity Falls and Steven Universe, so it never really got any attention. Of course, this show isn't too amazing, but it is fun and it has its moments. There are things to hate about this show, but for everything that you do hate about it, there's something enjoyable to back it up. And with the second season coming out next year, it's only going to get much stronger. So, I definitely recommend you just to try out this underrated gem.